Okay, the conscious evolution of humans. Human beings are complex. We have many aspects of our personal inner worlds. Thoughts, desires, and emotions inspire our actions, which then create our habits, which then create our lives. So, starting with thoughts and desires, they are the result of a combination of our DNA and our environment. Our environment is composed of our culture, our society, our home, school, or work environment, and in general, the input of information that we allow into our mental, emotional, and physical systems. You with me?
I'm following, buddy.
Good man.
That's sick.
Alright, so thoughts and desires result of DNA and environment. So the information, this input of information coming into our systems can come in the form of media, food and drinks, substances, sound, light, sense, and other particles and waves. As channels of information, we put our attention on a particular subject with our conscious awareness, and thoughts begin being, it feels like, received about that particular subject from universal consciousness or divine intelligence, or wherever the fuck thoughts come from, we start receiving. But we are essentially the ones holding the TV remote, where we pick the channel and then we sit back and relax. So we pick the subject we want to think about, and then all of a sudden this like filing cabinet of thoughts come out of nowhere, it feels like, or of our brain or whatever. And it's just everything that either we have already retained or something new, some new idea that we're receiving from somewhere in the ether to inspire us to something innovative. Our emotions are the result of our thoughts and the fulfillment or unfulfillment of desires. So, when we have a desire fulfilled, we feel good, we feel happy. When we have a desire not fulfilled, we tend to feel frustrated or angry or sad. So again, our emotions are the result of our thoughts and the fulfillment or unfulfillment of our desires. And our habits are the result of repeated actions that we take towards our desires, typically to achieve a particular emotion or need. So that's kind of how all these aspects of selves are related. Thoughts, desires, emotions, habits, they're all related to one another. As we live our lives, all information in our environment is a factor that influences the thoughts we think, the desires we have, the emotions we feel, and the habits we form. Naturally, we want to do things that make us feel good. Evolution has conditioned us to do so. And we typically do this so we can survive. The ability to seek and find food and water and find a partner to procreate with has kept our species alive this far. Finding food and water and a partner feels good. Our desires are programmed to be around those things to continue our species. But as I'm sure we've all noticed, doing things that feel good in excess end up making us not feel good in the long run. For example, overeating. And doing things that feel good to ourselves but are at the cost of making others feel bad also doesn't end up making us feel good in the long run, because we innately want to form deep, meaningful, trusting, and mutually beneficial relationships. So that's where integrity gets introduced to our evolution. Because up until that point of self-referential consciousness, or like thinking beyond just the present moment, it's like, I'm not just gonna kill someone to get that water. This person is beneficial to me on a relational level, and I want to have them around as a friend. I'm not just gonna kill this fuck to get the last bit of water. We're gonna share this water and then find more water together, for example.
Yeah.
So that's where this conscious evolution comes in to our biological evolution.
Right. That's cool, yeah. That's cool to think of it relationally. take language, for example. Like, you don't develop language in isolation. Like, language is necessarily built from relations among people. And, like, I'd say you could probably trace almost everything that we experience down to some relational aspect between people, and
So
not just
true,
like
dude.
happening in isolation.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I guess the way we kind of interact and view the world is inherently constructed from these relational aspects. So yeah, like, I didn't think of integrity as like requiring other people, but it seems to, because you're acting with integrity, with good morals, to engage with the world properly, because otherwise,
Why have integrity?
yeah, exactly, you could just
I'm just gonna eat all the food.
Yeah.
And whatever.
yeah, there's consequences if you behave like a dick. Like, people don't want to
Deal
hang
with
out
that.
with you or share their food and
Totally.
make business with you.
It's an
Anything.
empty existence.
Yeah, it's such a freaking dynamic interplay. Like,
Yeah.
each one of those things you outlined, like thoughts, emotions, desires, habits,
Actions.
actions. Yeah, like, all of those are so heavily like cyclical, like feeding back on each other.
Yes.
That it's like hard to place like the cause for anything. It's like, did I act because I thought of something, or did I think of something because of the way I'm acting and my
Right.
emotions, or
Fucking
like my
right.
desires? Like, what came first? Where does the loop begin? It's like, you can't really place like a core
Catalyst.
free will. Like, this goes back to free will as well. It's like,
Is this
Who's
God's will or my own will?
yeah,
fucking
exactly.
doing
It's like,
this?
who's making these decisions?
Yeah.
Who's choosing my thoughts? Who's choosing my actions? Like, where do these loops connect? And
That's crazy.
it's
man.
too trippy to think about, but it's
Yeah.
there's obviously correlations between all of that.
So, doing what makes us feel good is the bare minimum. That's what our biological evolution has taken us to. That's the point that it took us to. And now, for a conscious evolution to now take over, it's forcing us to have this level of integrity so that on a relational level, we can also be fulfilled. The physical evolution we have undergone to achieve this level of consciousness is no longer the focal point. What has become the new focus is the evolution our consciousness is now going through, rising from our instinctual, selfish nature to our spiritual, considerate nature. This is the conscious evolution, a paradigm shift in relating.